Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Me Live broadcast of the Zwift Games Jurassic Coast stage number 2. It's our final broadcast of the month of March for Zwift Games, and it is the only of the sprint stages we have not been able to catch. Now, this is a makeup, and it's at a different time than we usually go live, actually, because it is the only stage we were able to not broadcast at the set times that we usually broadcast. So we changed it up by about an hour and we're able to grab this Jurassic Coast. Dave, I'm really excited about this. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle next to me, and we're going to jump right down into the racing as quick as possible. But Zwift Games, the final broadcast we're going to have, and this course, Jurassic Coast, a little bit of punch up front with the climb through Titans Grove, and then essentially an undulating flat sprinter's delight, I think.
That's fair. No doubt about it. Nathan, the thing I'd say is that, well, first off, Zwift Games, what a tremendous success. It was so cool to watch how people engaged with the event, whether it was the broadcast that brought the elite racing to life for everyone, or the tens of thousands of folks that have gotten stuck in with the racing. And this was by far the most entertaining of the sprint venues that we saw, if you ask me. And I'm stoked that we got a chance. Good job of being able to craft this one for us, Nathan. But as we get stuck in here, it's interesting when you look at it. The courses where you think it's a guaranteed field sprint means you can expect a barrage of breakaway attempts in the last couple K.
It's a good point, actually. A lot of times when we do call out for it to be a full gas sprint at the end, sometimes these guys like to set things up a little bit differently for us, as we do get into about where we at here on course. We're 2.5 kilometers in. This is the start of the Titans Grove climb, and as we get into this climb, it is going to be EP coming out of Canada on the front of this. Milor, was I actually in a race with Milor? No, this is going to be a different Milor, actually. I thought I was in a race.
It's Jeffrey.
This is Jeffrey. I was in with another Milor just about an hour ago, actually, out on the Glasgow course for stage 3 of this. Interesting enough, I had a pro kit on. Had a pro UCI kit next to his name, so different Milor here. But Jeffrey here, that's a French national champion kit. No joke, that's for sure. Holding on at a 429 watts. Look at that 149 beats per minute. Keeping it steady here, it looks like, for Milor.
Yeah, he and Kirkfield are the two, I would say, apex predators that we've got. I don't know if you can have two apex predators now that I think about it. That might be a solo kind of gig. But, well, I guess King Kong and Godzilla might argue that. And that's sort of the situation we have with a lot of riders that are going to be looking to pick up the scraps every now and then. When you got two big dogs fighting, it's a third one that comes along and takes the bone. And that very well could be the situation out here today. This is as OG of a course as it gets, Nathan. I think we've probably spent more time here in Titans Grove than anywhere else in the Zwiftverse.
Yeah, that's for sure. This section, of course, very well known, but the way that they take this on might change up a little bit with the reality of the other side of this, because they do take on new roads immediately after taking on this Titans Grove. But this is going to be super familiar, that's for sure, with the way that they can attack this climb. Now, it's a very punchy climb that they're about to take on. It's only about, I wouldn't even call it not really a climb. A minute and a half. It's just a little hill that gets in the way, isn't it?
Yeah, is it even a launching pad? To be fair, it really isn't. This is I've oftentimes called it an OSS situation, only the strong survive. I think this is sort of the opposite of that. This is where we weed out those that just aren't up to snuff on a day like this, but it's not going to be as decisive as certainly something like a forward KOM might be. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good point. You can very draftable, that's for sure. So you're not going to be able to do too much damage. Now, we do have the A's and the B category up currently. We are going to be able to cover across both of them. And in the B category, we will have some C category riders as well after we cover the B's and the A's. The C category is up as well, but currently in the B category, we got Gruber as well as HVP here. Now, interesting name. 5 seconds off the front. It's going to be Lyndon and Davies Navy's there 5 seconds back now to trying to make a chase. I think they will be able to make contact. They're keeping them within striking distance here in this B category. In the C category, we will be over to them in just a moment. We got to find the front end of that race, actually, but we do have some C category riders as well we'll be covering. We'll jump in with the D's at the end of the broadcast as we look to find their race. Back in with the A's, though, because things are kicking off as we're back here with Deering from Royal Navy Cycling all the way back in 31st place. So you can see, Dave, things really started to kick off just a moment ago, the second that they hit the front end of this. And here we go with SD now on the front. Wow. Jean-Roch, actually. Carson here out of Australia, actually 204 beats per minute from H. Carson.
Wow, that's Hamish Carson here, Nathan, a real danger man. And, this is, when we talk about the racers making the race, this is exactly that. The heavy hitters have gone to the front. They're doing extensive damage. I mean, Hamish Carson here, this young Australian has taken out a sledgehammer and is just wailing away. You can see at 50 kilograms, he's trying to take advantage of making hay while the sun is shining here, Nathan. This is a great opportunity for him to not win the bike race, but lose it for a bunch of other racers. So he's going to put a few out the back here. No doubt this group coming together is going to be less than 20 riders if things stabilize as it is. This is some real action happening here in the first third of the race.
Matthias Wallbach now getting back on terms and coming right over the top. I like this little bit of a move. This is going to be the ESRT team not messing around. They show up for Monday racing and they take it fairly seriously. I get the sense Jean Verme was here just a moment ago off the front. Now we've got some bike now also making a move on the front here. A little bit left here for the Swedish rider in the tank. As you can see, what is up with that Aero PowerUp? That was a little bit of a panic. In my opinion, that was a little too much there. I mean, you use that Aero PowerUp at this moment from SD. What's he going to have left here at the finish? Because that's done and dusted for him. He doesn't have a PowerUp any longer here, Dave, does he?
Yeah, that might have been a bit of an overreaction. You're absolutely right, Nathan. And that's a big part of the game right now is, keeping your pennies to spend later. That's for sure. So this is very, very interesting here is our A group has really dropped the hammer in the beginning part of this race. And I don't think it's going to settle down much. They're at each other's throats out here, Nathan. So let's take some inventory here as the John Verme is absolutely one of the noteworthy riders in this group, the Swedish star, and one of the most experienced esports races that we have. Talking about Jean-Roch up here, Nathan, that's a rider that's really breaking through right now. Jeffrey Malure, I have to think that he and Kirkfield still remain the guys to beat here, but an interesting situation as we cruise through now what's going to be a good section here to look to see who wants to animate things. Everybody right now kind of sitting back on their heels in this group.
Yeah, and as we take a look, Jean-Roch, I think definitely going to be a danger man. We've seen him involved in a lot of sprints as of late. I wanted to get a quick little comparison across these riders, though. I think we've talked a lot about Verme, and I wonder if he's got the kick that's needed up again. I mean, he usually has an amazing kick, but as of recently, Dave, I'm not sure it's there. Like up against some of the new blood that we've seen here, Jean-Roch, definitely somebody to watch out for, I think, in a comparison between the two. We'll see what we can bring up here real quickly. Now, these two, as you can see, this is going to be, does he did change that up? Oh no, that's the same picture with the baguette. ESRT esports racer here with Jean Verme. I absolutely love it. Our Jean-Roch, though, as you can see there, 13 watts per kilogram, 15.5 there from Jean Verme. You can't really go past that, can you, Dave?
No, you can't. And actually, I mean, when we were looking at it earlier, there's a few riders that are right around 15, but I don't think anybody's got numbers that really compare to that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the finale for a guy like Jean Verme. He's been one of those riders that's always been there or thereabouts when you talk about podiums. But winning on a day like today would be a nice statement from the Swede. This is a rider, the ESRT man, Jean-Roch here, that we've really seen coming on strong, but they're stirring the pot here. That's going to be Velocio's Newell attacking now. He's got Charles McCarthy back in this group. So Velocio has a couple of cards to play. And they right now are going to make a statement here as well, as Newell is saying, come get me.
Yep. That's his face right now. Not impressed. Not impressed. He's a the cat face. I love it. No,
It looks like that cat meme where the cat is fighting with the lady at the table from Real Housewives.
It does. 2 seconds off the front, and he's got a little bit of space to work here. Loving it from Aaron Newell. Nice little move.
Look at the group. Look what happens, Nathan, when you do this, though. It is a call and response. He makes the call, and you can see that only a few can respond back in this group as he's splitting that micro peloton that we've got right now, this action from Newell, which greatly benefits Charles McCarthy. I have a feeling Velocio's got an ace up their sleeve today.
Locks here trying to shut things down. I think that's exactly why, as you can see, the German rider, he doesn't have a profile picture. I think the cat scared him away, essentially. But at 8.7 watts per kilogram for a sprint, Lars Lux, he's the one shutting things down right now out of Germany. You can see exactly why. He's got an amazing 5.7,
20 minutes.
Zero kick to work with, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's 20-minute power at 5.7. So you couldn't find a course that suits him less, really, than what he's racing on right now, which makes me even more impressed by Lars that he's taking on this challenge here. As if we were climbing on Alpe de Zwift, he'd be in his element. But, I mean, it's basically a downhill run to the finish line from here. Yeah, it kicks up a little bit, but, I mean, this is where you really want to be, that diesel train on downhill tracks, just throttling it to the finish line. Speaking of Charles McCarthy, here he is.
Going 1-2, 1-2. I like what him and Newell are up to, Dave. This is a really smart move from the two of them.
And so Cedric Jean-Roch is the other rider here. Charles McCarthy has been a great part of our community here, and it looks like Lars realizes that. And one thing that Lars can do, he might not win the bike race. He very well might, to tell you the truth. But one thing he can do is crush dreams out here today, and that's exactly what he's doing, is cover and kill on multiple moves. He is a one-man wrecking crew at this point. Again, this is Lars Law that we're looking at now, the German off of the front. And he's got another German rider, Kirkfield, chasing here. So pretty animated. I guess, Nathan, we haven't even really talked about the fact that this is a GC event. There is a general classification. So these guys definitely flat out flying out here. Can't imagine that anybody's going to be complaining about the group effort as far as speed goes.
Yeah, it's absolutely flying. Love what we're seeing here from the pace being set. Now, we saw Emma Belforth break away on this course specifically. We saw attempts for breakaways in the men's field as well that did not succeed at the elite level within Zwift Games. And Belforth proved that this course can be won with a breakaway effort. And, you know, this coast here, Dave, I mean, it's not flat. There's definitely some undulations, some ups and downs that you can work with. We've seen in our broadcast, the WLC champs that we had a little while back, as well as in my own racing, there's definitely the opportunity to make breaks happen on this coast if you are willing, but it's very tactical the way you have to use the speed and the rolling undulation. But if you work with it, there's a lot of sections to work with to try and break away. Once you get into 3K to go, Dave, though, a lot of times it's kind of a last ditch effort, but otherwise with about 2 to 3K from there, it's said and done. You hit the misty forest, it's really kind of done at that point.
Nathan, I couldn't agree more with what you're saying, and I really truly think that the breakaway, the art of the breakaway, is not about sheer force and just a brute force effort. It's about a tactical understanding of exactly when to apply the pressure, when to put your foot on the throat of the bike race, and that is all about experience and understanding of the ebb and the flow of the bike race. Now, when you attack, if you draw too much attention, the tall tree gets the wind, right? And you're immediately going to have them cover. You need to be able to figure out that moment with a counterattack when you can catch everybody looking at each other. There's a lot of elements that make a breakaway successful, but it's not something that happens just because of sheer will. There's a lot more behind it. And these guys know that. We're right now looking at, really, Nathan, this is the moment, as we say, when you least expect it, expect it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, looking forward now. It looks like Stringer now toward the front. No, excuse me. It's going to be ESRT with someone biking out on the move. That's going to be actually Jean-Roch. So there's two Jean-Rochs.
There's two Jean-Rochs. Yeah, and I apologize. There's Cedric and Arnaud They must be brothers. We're going to have to do some research on that. I feel like we've had this discussion going back for many, many years about this. But Arnaud Jean-Roch now is that Cedric that Nathan has up on screen here. But this is, and if you do see their avatars, you get the feeling that these guys don't shy away from a good rave.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if we can bring that in for everybody here. Now in the B category, there it looks like it's all been brought back together. I believe in the B category, we saw those initial kicks off the front. It is going to be Jan here from the DZR, as well as Roberts and Linden trying to make moves as they do hit the coast there on the right-hand side of the screen. Left-hand side of the screen, attacks kicking off with Kirkfield now as they hit the little bumps we were talking about in the coast section, the new coast that we just got released actually just a few months ago here. McCarthy does cover that very quickly. Gregory Merlot now, the French national champion, coming across. It's going to be EP covering that as well. Jean-Roch getting involved. It's going to be Sunderland from ESRT now sitting on up and over the top. Locks now with a big kick up into 10 watts per kilogram over the top of that. A couple of riders that have been keeping their powder dry. Well, maybe not at 179 beats per minute. The Manchi here with Kafashian. This is a rider I'm not familiar with at all, but I'm loving his fashion, if nothing else, that's for sure. Look at this, the pink, this purple pink Tron with the Canyon kit and that hat. I mean, this is looking good.
The Dimanche team, if I'm correct, Nathan, is Sunday in French. So I have a feeling that this team is, there we go. Yeah, this team, another one of the, I'm not sure exactly where Sadra lives, but I have a feeling it's Quebec.
It's a good call. I think you're probably pretty spot on.
We'll find out.
Currently, he lives at 181 beats per minute is where he lives.
That's downtown Payne City, Nathan, actually, if you look on your GPS.
I have a workout in my Zwift called Karis's Downtown Payne City, actually, or something along those lines that my daughter wrote for her. Well, I wrote for her while we were live streaming like 7 years ago, actually. It was one of the cutest things in all time. And just
That's
a quick...
cute.
Yeah. But currently that's where he's living, is downtown Payne City interval land for a moment there, as goes back to the back of the pack. He's caught very quickly. It has whittled down, hasn't it, Dave? We're down to what it looks to be with Newell on the back. 161 beats per minute. I think he's playing as smart as he possibly can.
Wow.
Velocio are looking for the win here, I think. Having two riders in here up against that ESRT, I think they're really playing this smart out here today. Unless he's just losing wheels. I think he's trying to play smart, though.
I do too, Nathan. And I think that there's something coming. And one thing that these guys in our front group have realized is attacking out of this group is a little bit like banging your head against a wall with Lars Lowe covering everything. I mean, as soon as it goes up the road, it seems like he activates the cover and kill mode and does exactly that. Let's see what we've got now, though. The Dimanche team is represented by a couple of riders, ESRT, Velocio. We've got a really cool mix of teams in this group now, Nathan. It seems like everybody's got a sidekick at a minimum, and that's going to really animate things as we're getting now into the business end of this race. And here comes Velocio. So Velocio is mounting their attack, and this is going to be it as Jeffrey Malure there in the French tricolor, the national champion there, trying to cover Newell, his second major
Look what
attack.
McCarthy did. Sorry, Dave. I just wanted a really quick highlight, though. McCarthy went to 2.3 immediately that Newell hit. Newell hit the front at almost 10 watts per kilogram. Yeah, exactly. Yep. He backed off, slowed it down. Malure over the top, Kirkfield as well. But he did the teammate work there. McCarthy not chasing, shutting it down at the front.
Watch this now, Nathan, as these two are operating like well-oiled cylinders right now, as the next attack should be a counterattack coming from Velocio over the top of this as Newell comes back into the group. This is bike racing at its best right now, Nathan. So this front group, boy, it's just too talented there for these guys to play around. Everybody must be at their limit right now, scraping the bottom of the barrel hill in our front group. Nathan, it's starting to look like a sprint to me, though, out of a reduced group. But there it goes.
McCarthy,
there it goes.
The counter. Oh, I love it. 10 watts per kilogram, 9 watts per kilogram. Kirkfield covered. Kirkfield now shuts it down at the front, but Kirkfield now goes into the back of the pack as he gets covered over the top there. Countered, over the top by McCarthy. Now it's going to be Cedric Zonrock trying to come across. Another kick from him, and it's up into 8 watts per kilogram. He was not involved in those first attacks. Is it going to split at the back? Look, you can see the center. Look at the center of the main pack. Now starting to split, and that's exactly what McCarthy wants to do. Where's Newell, though? That's the big question. He's not making the split, actually. Just barely able. That yellow kit on the very back of that split there, that's Newell. Whether or not he can make the juncture to now counter again, or is that going to be too much effort?
There's more splits in this field than Las Vegas divorce courts see on a Friday, Nathan. This is absolutely brutal as we take a look at almost 2 micro groups coming together. So Larslow again, cover and kill at the front. Velocio has been putting on a clinic with their 2 riders. It's just body blow after body blow being thrown in this front group. And I don't know that this comes together. Jeffrey Malure might counterattack out of this group. It's all hands on deck right now in our front group. Everybody benefits from the incredible speed that they're carrying here into the final couple of kilometers. And Nathan, another surge. I mean, this has been absolutely relentless here on Jurassic Coast.
Looking at Joe Stringer now here, trying to hold on to this incessant paint what is this kit? Sorry about the distraction, but that is a sweet kit. I'm loving these new kits these guys are pulling out here on that canyon with the pink and those stripes. I've literally never seen this before. I'm going to clip this, and we're going to ask Anna Russell. Because I've never seen that one before. Good to see Joe Stringer here making this at 157 beats per minute. Solid effort. Now Kirkfield goes 10 watts per kilogram. Will there be a cover for Kirkfield here? Sunderland now jumping right on that. Just going to be a lead out train, perhaps. We're down into it here, Dave. We had said usually as we hit the Misty Forest, if there isn't a split, there's not going to go, but there's one more chance, one more little bump, and then it's a full downhill into an uphill kick.
I don't know that that's going to be enough to launch out of this group. There are so many heavy hitters, but there's your man. It looks like Stringer's going to give it a run. It's actually going to be Pendini. Now the Italian attacking with old school fury as he makes his bid at it. Malure is going to get up there and cover. So the Frenchman trying to cover the Italian's attack. Jean Roque is right there as well. So the ESRT rider sitting in the slipstream. Kirkfield really tried to light the fuse and now sitting back and seeing what's going to explode. RT is there. So the Kaboom rider, Nathan, moving up. This is going to be one of the best finales we've seen in a long, long time, as the best sprinters that we've seen Mondays are all here.
Millar makes the juncture here. He's sitting on. Pendini continues on at 5.6 watts per kilogram. Jeffrey Millar, nice little 0 watts per kilogram to rest up now. There's a little bit of a downhill. A lot of speed here coming from Locks behind. That might be the freight train that the group needs for the lead out, but it's strung out behind. Who's going to get the best of it? Watch Kirkfield set up perfectly here. RT set up perfectly. Jean Worm is exactly where he needs to be as well as they make the juncture. Locks is going to pull this all back together. We're going to be right into the last K here in just a moment. The Misty Forest section. But Pendini goes again. Jean Roque with an early attack. Will they be able to hang on? Jeffrey Millar is just sitting in fourth wheel as best as he can. He's never hitting the front.
So Arnaud Jean Roque on the front. I'm starting to think the Jean Roque brothers are not brothers as they come from different countries, Nathan. We'll see how that plays out as we're taking a look now. 4 riders coming together. They've got less than a K to go until this one is done and dusted. Malure has got to love the situation that he's in. Nathan, in my mind, he's the best sprinter sitting up in the top 8 riders right now.
Yeah, 100% here. Milor is set up perfectly, but from behind, RT kicks up the 10 watts per kilogram. That late attack from him. He's going to come over the top, but here comes Jean Roque. Jean Roque now over the top of this, but now backing off. Dave, if they slow down here, it's game over for them. RT goes late, super late, but now he's going to back up as well. Milor now with the final kick onto the downhill. He's the smartest one amongst us, I think. Now where's the kick from Milor? Does he have it? 10 watts per kilogram onto RT's wheel. There's the Aero PowerUp. Jeff Milor, the Zwift craft is real. 12 watts per kilogram, but 14 from Jean Roque. Can he beat Jean Roque to the line? It just might be too much as Jean Roque has 16 to give. It's going to be second for Milor as Jean Roque takes it down. Now Worm now for third with his final kick, but that was just mayhem all the way to the line for those A's. Whew.
Wow. Absolute pandemonium there in that finale. So it was one of the Jean Roques, Arnaud Jean Roque taking that one as we're going to jump in with the bees. Now their finish is going to be, I mean, you get a feel for how fast. I can't imagine, Nathan, that there was another race faster than what we just witnessed out there with our A's on Jurassic Coast. We're going to pick up the bees now as they're down to just coming into the penultimate kilometer of racing here, and it looks like somewhat similar situation. They started with 82. So larger group, about 50% larger group starting for the bees. And this front group looks about 50% larger, not significantly bigger, but I call it somewhat similar situation actually as we head into the final 2K here.
Yeah, it looks like it as a little bit different, though. They're definitely a little calmer. A
little more chill.
Yeah, they're looking for a more traditional sprint here. You can see that with this group, right? And then for those that are like looking to learn the pack and to read the room a little bit better, look at the differences. Watch a little bit of a replay through the differences of this final K versus what you're seeing here, and to know whether or not you need to cover moves, right? Like watching a move go and whether or not in those moments, if it starts to string out, nobody chases, okay, that might get away. Because this group right here, you can attack out of this as we're seeing Milk here now make a move, and nobody may respond, or you might get a couple of responders and that might stick. Whereas what you saw in the final K from that other group was people just barely trying to hang on to a string of riders nonstop, over the top, and third or fourth wheel was always going to get the benefit there.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Nathan, very well said. If you were in that A race, you couldn't cover everything, so you had to be selective on what you went with and really base your moves on what other people were doing. So it really became that Chinese checkers of bike racing that we're witnessing. This is a lot more controlled right now. This B group definitely looks like most of these guys are anticipating a sprint. Someone's got to zig when they zag, and it looks like that's what's happening now. Is I think we're moving into that mode pretty quickly here, Nathan, where the guys who don't want to trust on their pure sprint are going to start playing some cards, and that's exactly what we're witnessing. The Seisano has one of the cooler flags that we've seen in a long time there on top of the table.
Early Aero PowerUps being used, it looked like, and that's not going to benefit anybody here that's using them too early, but it looks like BN here from Ireland using it perfectly. Can they come over the top with SPSD? But no, it's the jump that gets the better. Hermans is going to take second. It looks like followed up by Stevens there from HCT. Robert X there for third. And he's got, I got to give Stevens here, though, a little bit of a shout out. Those are the coolest headphones in all of Zwift. The only headphones in Zwift. Big spin.
Have you got yours yet?
Oh, I got it all. I got everything.
Yeah, you got everything.
I got everything except I've got everything except for the new New York City. I didn't do an I got a little busy with too much Apex over the weekend. So I got no New York City stuff yet. But I got everything else. Now we're back in 85th place because, well, to be honest, we haven't found the front yet, but we get to highlight a couple of other riders. ZRG here with Sand. He's going to help us move to the front. Let's see. We're up here at the front, though. This is going to be Biscuits. Biscuit. Sorry, not Biscuits, but Biscuit now in 11th place or so. This is the front of the C category as we jump in with them.
You think that's a real last name or an ode to the American cookie?
I don't.
Hard to say, isn't it? I mean, it definitely could be a real last name.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling
that's a good question.
We've had enough biscuit lovers around us here.
You know what we found out though was that Lion King was not actually a thing.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
That was, but at least
I'm forgetting what his real first name.
It was like Liam something.
Lionel King.
Liam or Lion or something.
Liam King. Yeah,
like something. It wasn't King though. It was like there was a totally different name. It was just.
I have a feeling.
Maybe it was King. No, it was King. You're right. It was.
His
King.
last name was King.
Yeah,
right. That will go down. That'll go down as one of our funnier misinterpretations of a situation.
That was one of the best. Now his name is Lion King forever. Forever.
With the Goldtron. And you had it all so figured out.
And it wasn't even a thing. It was not even close to a thing. Oh, man.
This is how conspiracy theories happen, people. That's for sure.
Who's this guy? I like this last name, Lukola. Coming out
I
of
like
Finland.
this last name, Vols. Mariana Vols. So you can't go wrong. But Lukola is going to go ahead and prove what Finnish Sisu power is all about. huge fan. Oh, I saw yesterday, I heard on NPR that Finland is considered the happiest country on earth.
Did that recently change? I thought it was another country for a little
Well,
while.
America came in at 22nd.
Yeah, well,
Just so you know.
we're all a bunch of whiners over here. What's going on?
A lot of upset people. In Finland, they get outside, they go skiing or find a sauna or do whatever Tapu Lorio is doing and have an absolute blast. So, hooray for Finland.
If you do, that's our
Who
tip
knows?
for the day for a happy life. Do whatever Tapu Lorio is doing for the day. Is that
if you do that, you're fine.
He's not going to hold on. It's like, caught at the line.
Over the top.
Yeah, it's going to be A
right
grade.
there, too.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, caught by McBride. Gray, followed up by Osborne from Army Cycling. Nice little kicks there in the C category. I'm trying to find the D's. Oh, D category. And I might not be able to. I'm doing my absolute best. But for some reason, sometimes we just cannot get what we need. Can't always get what you want. Oh, but you try sometimes. You get what
just
you need,
might
right?
find.
You get what you need. Yeah. Well, I'm working on
Again,
it.
back to the parenting tips from last week. It sounds like that song is appropriate. That's for sure. So, as Nathan looked
parenting tips, what's going on here?
Well, last week we mentioned the school of having 5 kids came up as well.
That's
on
right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You kind of nowadays, if you want to be following along on Mondays, you need to have watched the previous Monday.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch everything.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just not going to understand anything that's going on here as far as the inside jokes go.
Like, it's funny, Nathan. Another one.
And then you have to go watch Lion King as well.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you get a lot of homework. But top 30 is an inside joke.
Actually, I thought you were going to say Top Gun.
Not yet. I'm sure it will be, though, at some point. So how about the Velocio guys today? What I love was, and I'm sure that I was focused on them. We've always been big fans of that team. But what you see are teams on Mondays showing up with a game plan, executing that game plan, seeing where the chips fall, adjusting, recalibrating. And that's really what this is all about. When you talk about community, there's the big, broad community, but then there's your dogs, right? Your boys or your women, your crew. And that's who you go to battle with on Mondays or Tuesdays or Thursdays, whatever your day might be with us here on Zwift. But you can see what Velocio is doing today. It's just fun.
I'm working currently on the companion app, everybody, just so you know, to try and get it to load game mode for me so that I do have the D category, but they're probably finishing already or close to finishing, and I can't find them at the moment. I really apologize. Sometimes we try and jump across. It's actually, I think, a background protection, though, which is interesting. The companion app just has some like inside the broadcast technology that we do in order to try and get all of the coverage that you're looking for. One of the protections I think that they've added is that you don't lose the original connection that you had to the avatar that you are currently on, right? And so like if I log in on a certain account and then I try and go to another account or try and find another event, it doesn't easily jump around because it's trying to stay with the connection it originally found and the account it originally found. And so as I try to do that, that's a guess, or it just needs to figure out what I'm trying to do live and get an update to do that, and that's not happening. But so we can't find the D category. I apologize, everybody, but we will at least look at the results from the D category as soon as they finish. And we also are still, now for Zwift Games throughout the month of March, if you haven't noticed, we've been using Zwift Power for the results, and we're going to have to continue to do that today, but we will be back with usual ZRacing next week, Monday, with all of your top 30 results the usual way, but we're using the Zwift Power today again. All of you. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the comments over on YouTube, though, and see how everybody is doing. What is next week? Velocio have stepped up as ever. Niall's letting us know. I heard Niall went skiing today. It sounds like so. Good to hear. Niall needs to jump back into some of this racing though. But
Niall's a super Zwifter. He's got a huge following out
he
there.
does, and joining Restart had some pretty solid efforts actually. When it came to the elite racing actually in Zwift Games for a youngster, that's for sure. I'm hearing a whole lot of chatter here. We do need a space though with community verification. Mondays is for fun, everybody. We don't take Mondays super seriously. It is more for fun. The only verification we have across ZRacing is heart rate monitors. We don't have dual verification. So maybe we could chill the comments out a little bit. It is mainly for fun here. Now, on other broadcasts that are more managed when it comes to the community racing, like Echelon Racing League, other elite levels with games, hopefully some other spaces that are starting to develop that we could partner with from Zwift Community Live, where verification is happening at a higher level with dual recordings required, KISS Racing, other places. A little bit more serious, everybody. Now, I will say, though, also, as someone who's been involved in this space for about 10 years, yeah, there's definitely some efforts out here in the Monday racing that are out of control. And, get your dual verifications going. If you don't want the comments, it's like two-sided. Yeah, the comments need to chill out. Your wattage is also a communication, though. Just because you're not speaking, you are saying something. And all that's needed is heart rate. And yeah, anybody can race. And yeah, there isn't really any. And Monday racing is kind of like this gray area. And we do need that. I think there's I do think there's some cool stuff coming out on this in some articles that are coming up. And maybe I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on this, Dave. But this idea of needing a casual space and needing a competitive space with the expectations set correctly. Because right now, the only thing that's happening in chat is mixed expectations. There's one group of people that have an expectation and they show up and go, hey, I just need to put a heart rate monitor on and I have this power source and I bought this power source. I just want to race. What the heck? And then you have this other side that's like, oh, that's not real and dual recording and and you don't know what real wattage is. And it's no, they might not know what, they're just somebody who bought a trainer. They don't know what real, you know what I mean? So you have these two different worlds that are trying to interact with each other. And then you have people who just kind of know, and they're just kind of kind of over reading and they just know. But what do you think about all that, Dave? Just real quick at the end here, because it's popping off in the comments and I definitely want to address it because it's there.
Yeah, it's been the biggest challenge, I think, for me personally, Nathan, being involved in esports is exactly this conversation, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I genuinely see it from both sides where, if you've been around esports long enough, you can see the challenges of becoming dual verified. It's no walk in the park. There's,
you got to
there's
spend
an
some
economic
cash, right?
You got to. I was going to say there's an economic element of, power. I'll leave that there. It's not exactly free to do it, but what it does, and I think this will be my statement here on this, Nathan, is I found with anything in life when they just offer it up for free, that's not generally the best way to do things, whether it's a performance or a service that you're offering. If you charge a little bit, you get people who are invested. And I kind of am going that way with dual verification, where we need people who have made a certain threshold of commitment to the sport to be able to be considered in the pool of eligible athletes. And that commitment really is dual verification. It seems like that's pretty close.
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and then
it's
so then we need
ask.
another space for that, though, like we had with Echelon Racing League, right? Like we said, Monday racing, show up, get a good workout, we'll hype it up. It's a lot of fun. This is a more casual space, right? At least that's my sense of at least. We show up and put on a show. But we're not the authorities on the event, right? And so however the event is set up, and this event is set up that it's a heart rate monitor is what's required, and have at it, kind of, right? Heart rate monitor.
And
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, and if that's the field of play, then that's the field of play. And I can
Exactly.
understand the frustration and the comments, but I feel like that it's kind of the wrong place and the wrong time for that is
Yep.
the thing. On Mondays, you just have to let it go. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's something that you enjoy, and then just get stuck in. And I'm going to, from a few riders' perspective here, I'm going to think that there's probably 5 guys that believe that they if all things were fair, they would have won today. But think about that from that perspective. That means that 4 of them are wrong. Right. So, I mean,
it's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So,
and I gotta just say, and I'm gonna lean that, and I'm on the cuff, off the cuff here, man, like managing / coming to conclusions, and I like that because, when you're open to constructive thought and criticism and not just having a position. I do have some positions in this space, obviously.
You have an educated,
exactly. A place to place those ideas, right? And so I lean toward, hey, like, let's back off, guys. Like, Monday's not super serious, and we kind of know that. Show up and get a good workout, and we'll put on a show, and then, like, let's push for another space and other events where the community has more management, or Zwift offers some more management of their own when it comes to something that's more verified, which we kind of have this super elite right now. And then we have this stuff, and then kind of community managed things where the community organizers don't even have the tools, and they're like, we got to do something, but we can't. So, like, yeah, we hear it, and the feedback is going hard, and we're going to do our best, everybody, to try and create that new space on Zwift. But for right now, we don't want to see people in comments being like, I'm out, bye, you guys are too rude to me. Like, everyone's just trying to get a workout here, guys. I mean, I've had the rage as well. I've raged plenty on my own personal channel. The frustration is kind of toward the individuals who are doing it, but it's also like, we need another space. So, let's not, we're all trying to be friends here, people.
Yeah. And my final point on this, Nathan, would be anybody who went through American cycling through the 2000s and all of the doping accusations, it's somewhat similar. And I think almost everybody who went through that looks back and says, I wish I could have been maybe a little bit more human and a little bit kinder, a little bit more understanding.
Watch a lot of the recent podcasts that have come out from individuals who are directly involved.
Right.
Every single one of them have pretty much almost every one of them said, I could have been a better person.
I could have handled it better myself.
Yep.
And I think that if we could have managed the petty greed and anger and those things better, and I see it happening in the same way. It's, ultimately at the end of the day, we're talking about cheating. Right. And it's something that's a really tough subject for people, but it's something that, being open and honest and transparent and try to do that without being just mean.
Yep. 100%. Easy Rider UK. I hear you on the coverage as well. I do see the comment across all 4 categories. It's a tough one. The coverage that we can get across all of them. The Zwift Games sprint races were pretty short, and ZRacing, sometimes we do try to cover as best as we can across all of them. So we hear that feedback. In the month of March, I think it's been more about that. So, all right, let's take a quick look here though at the results. I definitely just wanted to speak to that as I saw the comments coming through, and just say, hey guys, like, at a certain point, if it starts getting nasty, we might start to go, hey, we don't need those comments. And we may take action on that. We don't want anybody to feel like they're, being attacked like that's just a little too much. The jokes and the fun, okay, but let's the expectation here is not verified.
Let's throttle it back
a little bit. 100%. 100%. So quickly here, Dave, you want to take the
I've been asked to do that plenty of times in my life. So well, Arnaud Jean-Roch, the ESRT rider. So, Nathan, I tried to slip it into the commentary, probably not super appropriately, but I noticed that he's got a British flag versus the French flag for Cedric. So, maybe related, maybe not. So, but it is Arnaud Jean-Roch there on top of the table for the ESRT team. It's Jeffrey Malure in for second, one of the stars on the Hexagon team. Third for John Verem today. Kirkfield in for fourth. Martin Sunland in at fifth place. Charles McCarthy sixth. Lars Lowe in seventh. EP for eighth. Joe Sen in ninth. Andrea Pendini with a stinging late race attack for the Scanalatori team in 10th. Matthias Valbeck, 11th. The ESRT, Nathan, had 3 riders in the top 11. RT, the Kaboom Man, in 12th. Cedric Jean-Roch for 13th. Joe Stringer in 14th. Sadra Kafeshian there, the Dimanche rider we talked about early in the broadcast, in at 15th. It's young Hamish Carson out of Australia in at 16th. Seb D for 17th. Aaron Newell for 18th. David Moyer for 19th. Liam Hewitt for 20th. Rob Williams in at 21st. 22nd, today's Eugene Zubkov. 23rd is Bixby Stewart. Greg Herbert, 24th. 25th was Kevin Anker. 26th is Matthew Spooner. Nicholas Bremer for 27th. Paul Deering in 28th. Shawry in 32nd. I don't know what happened. All right,
maybe we ran out of riders. I think we ran out of riders there, Dave.
That'll happen. So let me jump in then, because Ben N is going to take the win for our Bees. Ben will be followed there by Lewis Hermans. Paul Stevens in for third. Wim Roberts in for fourth. Fifth is Carl Johan Berleton. Sixth is Jan Itzjalki. Seventh is Valentino Paoli. Eighth place for P.A. Pedersen. Ninth place going to Rafael Cooper. It's Glorad Saizanu. That's Benin is the flag there for Glorad. He's in at 10th. 11 is Luke Evans. 12th is Axel Morgner. 13th is Per Ola Linden. 14th is Drago Bergholt. 15th for Paul Davies. 16th for Gasper Metelic. 17th for MM. 18th for Lexi Lightning. 19th for Oliver Milk. John Clancy in at 20th. 21st is Michael Schoening. 22nd is Gerald Blues Browser. Gerald Blues Browser. 23rd is Jay Casabella, Jay for 23rd. Hans Gruber in for 24th. 25th is Marco Abondanza. 26th is Chris Faulkner. 27th for Nico Sertic. 28th for Rob Brookfield. 29th is Irish Dave. And H.M. Fredstad in for 30th. So that's your top 30 for the Bees. In the C's, we've got Neil McBride on top of the table. Andy Gray for second. Kevin Osborne in third. Ron Grundall for fourth. Pete Edelson for fifth, David Lawrence in sixth, Nathan Elliott seventh, Eric Felbabel in eighth, Nat Thompson ninth, and then Everett Jan Molima in 10th. Juan Manuel Mayoral Corriero in for 13th, Christian Hauska 14th, Roger N 15th. After Roger N in 16th, it is Mark Holclough, then Daniel Spear in 17th, Gil Oglesby 18th, James Stevenson 19th, and Adam Viren for our C's in 20th. In 21st is Grant Ching, Mateus Volter in 22nd, Thomas Brown 23rd, Helen Carswell, well done Helen, in 24th, Sam Mills 25th, Pierre Schmidt 26th, Rick Stenton in 27th, 28th is Olda H, 29th for Grant Frentwell, and James Martin rounds out our top 30 here for the C's. Extra love for our D's as Not So Slim on top of the table, taking the win with Sandra Mobius. Way to go, Sandra, the German, in for second. There he is. It's Lloyd King, a.k.a. Lion King, for the Herd team in at third today. Good to see you, Lloyd, and thanks for the really great sense of humor there. So big fans of Lloyd in third, Nathan. Tim Sidwell in fourth, Neil Booth in fifth, Joao Paulo in sixth, Luis Cruz in seventh, D. Sebs in eighth, Mike Day in ninth, and then Roland Howard in 10th. It's Christian Rutgerson in 11th, Joachim Uderson 12th, Ian Robertson 13th, David Jorgensen 14th, 15th. For Ian Hamlet, Jose Pereira in 16th. So after the Portuguese rider, we have Jamel Zegachov in 16th. 17th for Gareth Williams, Robert Hall in 18th, Neil Duffy 19th, Frederick Nielsen in 20th, MEB 21st, M. Mota in 22nd, Adam Reeds 23rd, Michael Johnson 24th, Arno de Cook in 25th, Christian Hockenberg 26th, Danny Malloy in 27th, Stefan Schmelzel in 28th, O. Lindgren 29th, SCQ Quip in 30th, and David Byrne rounding out 31st place there for our Ds. We got
Thank
the
you so
bonus
much
31st.
for getting through that there, Dave. Really
Yes.
appreciate that. That's a lot of work there. And we appreciate all the comments coming through, actually, just so you guys know, as far as constructive feedback. We do take them and we do submit them here at ZCL. We love to be a portal for that water cooler after the races to have a chatter about what you thought of the race, if you had fun, as well as any constructive ways that we can make events. Well, not we could make events better, but that we could pass on for that to happen. And I do see that idea of ZCL doing our own events. We've tried to do our best actually to stay away. We did do ZCL test labs for a while. One thing we like to do is be a support structure as best as we possibly can for event organizers, Zwift, as well as those that are in the community. And then we highlight what they're up to. We have had conversations about making that happen though, as well. We'll see about that coming into the summer and fall. At the same time, we like to keep our interests mainly in one area, rather than compete maybe with the organizers that we want to support. So that's one of the reasons why I try and stay away from organizing events, is that I don't want to be looked at as a competitor, just to be honest, with the community that I'm looking to support in any way whatsoever, and try and grow those who are the best at what they're doing, and inform them as well as consult them to put on the best events as they possibly can. So that's one of the main reasons. It's a great idea though. Charles McCarthy, I saw that comment coming through. Just not sure that we want to take that on just as of right now, but maybe in the future. So, well, thanks everybody for jumping in with us. We really appreciate it. It's been there's some great kicks at the end there. A lot of fun covering that, as well as good conversation, constructive conversation. Maybe something we'll bring up on the wrap this week, Dave. I think again to just highlight that area that we're looking for forward. I think to the summer and the fall, maybe for some more things to come out of the community and out of Zwift for the tools that we need.
I'll try to add some positive comments.
That'd be great. That'd be great. All good moving forward. I think that we definitely have a lot of positive momentum right now in this space. So, hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with us here. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like, follow, comment, subscribe. And we will see you on Wednesday night, Central USA, for the wrap, as well as looking forward to the Team Time Trial Worlds and Zwift Racing League in the month Zwift Racing League finals in the month of April. At this moment, we don't have anything else really scheduled, but we will look forward to scheduling some more stuff as it comes up throughout the rest of spring and summer. Besides that, though, thanks everybody for tuning in. From Dave and I, as always, ride on.